So I'm about to go see Captain Marvel opening night in IMAX, and I'm really excited. I really hope it's good. I've been hearing some, with the lighting, I've been hearing some really mixed opinions, but please be good. Instead of having like a typical normal review of just me talking about the movie, I wanted to do a before and after segment. I honestly want this to be better than Spider-Man Homecoming, but I don't think it will. Realistically, this should be better than the first Thor, because it kind of seems like that situation where the title character is landed into an unknown area, unbeknownst to her, and she has to deal with all these sci-fi adventures and situations. But I like Brie Larson, I like Marvel a lot, but in terms of like comic book superhero movies, I think this definitely needs to be better than X-Men Apocalypse, than Justice League, Spider-Man 3, Venom, like all that, right? Because the only bad movies Marvel has, in my opinion, because I do enjoy Thor 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp is the worst one, and then Guardians 2 and Thor 3. I did not like Ragnarok, sorry. But this movie, I probably know it will be better than those. So it won't be below a C- territory. Like, it'll be better than X-Men Origins, definitely. And, like, maybe on par with the first X-Men movie. Like, I hope it's, like, a good B movie, if not an A movie. Like, an awesome A movie, like, you know, Captain America 2 and 3, or Avengers 1 and 3. Actually, Avengers 2, I hope this is as good as Age of Ultron, hopefully, because I didn't hate Ultron. I actually enjoyed it better than most, but I didn't think it was that great of a movie. I thought it was just fun, and I hope this movie is a good movie while being fun. But at least if it doesn't do anything, just, you know, like Ant-Man and the Wasp, have the end credits be the best part, setting up your next Avengers title. Because Endgame, now that I'm excited for it. But this movie, it could go either way. I love Black Panther, I love Doctor Strange, and I love Incredible Hulk. Well, I don't love it, but I like it better than most. I like Ultron better than most, and so I hope this is kind of in the middle of the road for MCU. But we'll see. Please! Well, that sucked. It was so empty. It was soulless. It was lifeless. It was about nothing. Honestly, what really happened? I was so bored. It's not like I'm even pissed off. Captain Marvel, her name is like, oh, Carol Danvers, and then they call her Veers. It's like, ooh. She starts the movie the same way it ends, and it's just no character arc. It's not even like a Born Identity thing where it's like, I have to piece together who I am. The only thing that kind of resembles that in the beginning, when she has these like locked things on her fists and her hands, and she's trying to like beat her way out. But it's not even an action set piece, and it's like, oh, typical twist villain, Jude Law. It's like, oh, cool. It's not like I didn't see that coming. How predictable was that? And then Ronan is there, and he's like, I'll be back. And it's like, for the Tesseract, for the girl. But and Guardians, it doesn't make sense. And then at the end, when Sam Jackson's like, well, and the whole movie's like, I'm Fury. No one calls me Nicholas. Uh-oh. That's how, you know, it's the other guy, even in the elevator, even though Fury kind of called Carol, I'm going to call her Marvel, called Marvel out, or I can't call her Marvel because it's Marvel, and that Benning, wait, I'm getting sidetracked. Fury was like, oh, Captain Marvel, I'm kind of like selling her out, even though, like, Goose cut my eye. That's how I have one eye with the eye patch, and then it doesn't make sense because 10 years later, he's like, the ending scene is like, oh, her plane was called the Avenger. Well, no. It starts off with like Coulson coming in. He's like, what do we do now? Here's your case of eyes. Jokey joke. This movie's so funny, sarcasm, witty, Captain Marvel. But Fury is like, we need more. He's like, more what? He's like, we need more help. We don't know the other outside lives out there. We need to create something. Even though he started that in 2008 with Iron Man, but he's like, I guess we're not going to continue it for 10 years later. 10 years? Even more than 10 years. We're just going to start with it later. And then he's like, oh, but get this. Her plane was called the Avenger. And so we will call this initiative the Avengers Initiative. Even though Captain Marvel was like, why does everyone have 3 names? Oh, isn't it so confused? Like, oh, I only people, people only call me Fury. I did not like this movie. I didn't hate it. I still liked it better than Ant-Man 2, Thor 3, or Guardians 2, and Thor 3, because those really angered me in that I felt more emotion. Good and bad, I was just like, even though it was a little bit cooler, I mean, Guardians 2 and Thor 3 with its effects, here I'm just like, what happened? Not really what happened. What happened? Like, what actually happened? Can you tell me? Because, like, the beginning, I was thrown in for a loop. Not even, like, piecing together her memories. It's like, I feel like it's so constant. It's not even, like, exciting action. Like, there's no ticking clock. And there's like, I'm thrown in for a loop like Aquaman politics, where I'm just like, what is the viewpoints? What is going on? The Kree, the Skrulls? I guess that she is now friends with the Kree. She's a Kree, but not because she's human, but she's fighting the Skrulls. It's like Into Darkness thing. It's like, oh, we're fighting Khan and his people, but it's exciting and you like it, and he's trying to protect his people. But here it's like, oh, the Skrulls are like, or the Kree. I'm getting so confused. It's like, oh, the green people are like the good guys, because here it's like, oh, when she's living with the Jude Law and that people for 6 years, they're bad, even though she has a sarcastic, witty banter going on. But then, like, one of her mates is like, "Why didn't we hang out? Because I don't like you." Oh, it's just like, what is this? Like the train set piece. I'm just like, this is the first day Fury sees not only an alien, but he's going to space. And it's not really a reaction. It's like, oh, I guess this is happening. Moving right along, it's like, wait. Fury went to space. The only time he went to space, basically, because now he dusted. And of course, they have to give the pager. It's like, call me. You don't want me to crank call you? It's like, what? They're doing dishes. How exciting. Now, scenes I like. There are 3 scenes I like. One scene, I like the Annette Bening stuff, because it's like, cool, like that interrogation theory where it's kind of like a Blade Runner 2049 thing where the robot confirms who you are. But here, not only do they ask questions like a Walking Dead thing, or it's like, oh, who, how many walkers have you killed, how many people have you killed, and why. But here it's like they keep on asking you personal questions until you don't know it, when they know it's not you, because they can impersonate someone else, which is kind of cool. It's way better than Inhumans. I mean, some of the bad stuff kind of resembles Inhumans, where it's like, what is going on? But, second part, I like Annette Bening. It's like, oh, I like this song, even though I am kind of the bad guy. It's like, what is going, the sound, it's like, oh, a cute cat and songs I like don't make a movie. When they're having the final battle at the end, it's like, oh, the typical third act final set piece conflict. It's like the song starts right before she even hits the jukebox, so when she smiles, it's like, I'm just a girl plays, and you're like, oh, is she happy? Like, she's like fully commanded. It's like, oh, who can I be full powered? And I'm like, oh, finally something cool. But it's just like, yeah, it's kind of cool when she flies and go pew pew with the effects. It's like, I saw it in the trailer. What else can you offer? It didn't offer anything else, and it's really disappointing. I wasn't that excited, but it's just really lame. Okay, second scene I like her revisiting her old friend. And the one particular line I do admire, when she's like, I didn't know where you were for 6 years, I thought you were dead, and then you just show up unexpectedly, you don't even remember me. Like, I like that. And then the third scene I like is the post-credit scene. Of course, it's like the best scene in the movie is, teasing another movie. This doesn't feel like a setup movie, even though I like Ultron better. That was way cooler. But here it's like a clip from Endgame, and guess what it is? If you couldn't tell with the pager and Fury dying, they're trying to resurrect the pager because it immediately died. And even though it's kind of weird they found him, I want to know that, like, timeline. It's like, how much time has passed? because obviously they know, but it's like, oh, we need to contact whoever Fury contacted, even though we know who it is. And then the camera pans and she comes right up and looking cooler than ever with the hair and the costume, like, whoa, this threw me in for a surprise. And she's like, where's Fury? I'm like, wow, now this is exciting. And then it's just like, oh, that's it. And then the second, post-credit scene is like Ant-Man 2, like, oh, you want to see the ant playing drums? Oh, Goose, swallow the Tesseract, hairball. Honestly, I know people hate Spider-Man 3, and it's bad, but I think it has more to say. I'm still excited for Endgame, but this was quite uneventful.